On today's episode, Anna is going to show us how to make these cute refrigerator decorations to bring a little springtime to your kitchen.
To get this refrigerator decorated really pretty for springtime, we're going to start with a dollar store metal plate.
Great source for materials.
It is, and it's magnetic. I mean, magnet things will stick to it, so you just want to make sure that
it is metal. Yeah, right. For this project, you want real metal.
Yes, and then we're going to go to the Martha Stewart Vintage Decor paint.
This is a great chalk paint. And
I picked this Brook because it just felt really
pretty color.
To me. And then we're going to go to this great chalk brush by Folk Art. And I'm just going to pat it into it. And I'm just going to, this cover's so wonderful too.
It's good and opaque.
It really is. And you really, I put 2 coats on. You really probably only need to do 1 if you want to. And I was amazed that I could even get right, can you see I'm getting right up to the edge?
Even with the bigger brush, yeah.
Even with the
I was wondering
brush,
about that when you had the large brush.
I really like this brush because I was able to, and show you one more time. If you just kind of roll, you see how I'm just kind of rolling my hand.
Yeah, I tend to be brush challenged, so.
But this really did turn out easy. So after that was done,
get that out of your way for you.
Thank you. This is what it looks like. So this is already nice and dry. And I just think it's a really great effect.
It's a nice soft summer sky blue.
Yes. So we're going to get started for our next step. Now to decorate our plate, I went to the Sizzix and to Brenda Walton. She has some really fun coordinating designs.
Summery feminine dyes.
And I picked out 3 papers, and I'm going to show you in just a minute how I'm doing that. So I went ahead and ran them through the machine.
The Big Shot machine, we do have a tutorial on our site that shows you exactly how to use this machine to die cut.
So when I lift this up, I have actually, now to do our bird that we're going to do, you need 3.
You've got 3 different papers to coordinate.
3 different coordinating papers. So when this comes up, I'm going to show you that a little bit better. Let me pop these little birds all out. And one more little loopy. So you get the idea. When those all come out, so you can see I stacked all 3 pieces of paper together, cut them together. Because now we're going to do a little dissecting on our bird.
Ooh.
Now before I put my die cut machine away, I went ahead and did a bunch of the Gerber Daisy flowers as well, and also the little butterfly. So best to get all your die cutting done all at one time, and then that way you can coordinate all your different images. Now there's this really cute little bird on this die cut, but we want to layer it, and you can see on her sample there is a layered bird. So it's basically dissecting the bird, and you can see here how I've cut off the legs. Just kind of, I know.
This is just cruel.
Cut off the legs, cut off the head. Then I decided, well, let's not stop there. Let's dissect the butterfly as well.
Rip the wings off the butterfly.
Exactly. So once that's done, then when we go to do our decoupaging, we will reassemble the whole bird and the butterfly as well. Okay, I love to do decoupage, and one of my favorite ones to use is Mod Podge.
It comes in so many formulas now too.
It does, and we're going to use the, this is the gloss finish we're using today, and later we're going to use the one with the glitter in it.
Sparkle.
We must sparkle. Now there's a couple different ways when you're doing any kind of a decoupage. You may want to always put a nice coat down first on your, in this case on our tray that we're using, and yes, I'm going right over that chalk paint that I painted on earlier. So we get a nice little coat of this. And it's nice using the gloss because you can actually see, oh, that's matte there. I need more medium there. So when I'm going to my little swirlies, and you want to play around with them to make sure they're going to match correctly. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the medium right on the back. A little decoupage here, like that. And then I'm going to lay it right on my tray. Now this is going to be where the bird is going to perch, is right here. Now I'm going to come back with this one, and I did find I actually cut a couple little curly cues off so they all intertwined. And a little tip for you, when you are cutting, you're going to cut with the, because you want the opposite direction, does that make sense, of the swirls, and the same thing if you were doing a bird and you wanted the bird to look at them to look at each other. So what you'll do is you're going to take the paper, and in one direction you're going to put it on your die cut with the white side of the paper showing.
Face up versus face down.
And then you're going to do the opposite, the reverse.
Negative and a positive almost.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of so if I didn't do that, the swirls wouldn't be going the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to come back with my Mod Podge again, and I'm going to go right over the top. You get the idea. You want to make sure it's all sticking down nicely.
You don't want any areas lifting up.
No, ma'am. And like that one, sometimes I just like to go in there with my finger.
Scudge it. Scudge it.
Scudge it. I like that word. Scudge it.
See, look, there's another one.
Okay, you scudge while I, oops, paint your fingernails.
I want to get my pinkies inky.
Okay. So while Cindy's doing that, now I'm going to come. Now remember how we were doing the bird, right? So I'm going to...
You doing the bird, Anna?
Oh, jeez. So on the back side of our bird, we're going to put our Mod Podge, and now I'm perching him. Remember I said I was going to perch him right here. There we go. Well, his tail wants to overlap a little. I don't have an issue with that. And now this is where we're going to start putting him back together again.
So now that you've ripped him apart, you're going to reassemble.
Now that I've cut him apart, and I just wanted to show you this real quick because I think it's important that you see how easy it is to do some layering.
It really adds a lot of dimension. They're cute the way they are, but when you add those different color tones, it makes him pop.
There we go. Now he's got his head back, and then we're just going to do his little wing.
It's good to have your head on straight.
Yeah. Put the wing on just like that. And now our little butterfly up in the corner. He's going to be flying because the bird's having a little chat with the butterfly.
Or he's going to eat him.
You're bad today. My butterfly is not going to get eaten by the bird.
Tasty.
And here's his little middle body, just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a whole nother coat of to seal it well, and I'm going to let it dry. Once I let it dry, I'm going to come back and I'm going to go the opposite stroke. So you always want to go stroke one way, then you want to come back when it's dry and stroke the other way. It gives it a really nice pattern to the top of the images. For our next refrigerator decor piece, we're going to have a mason jar, as we showed earlier with the flowers. Now to get that effect, I really wanted to be able to Mod Podge the outside of my jar with the swirls and the butterfly, but I wanted it more opaque on the inside, so you really couldn't see the stems of the flowers or the magnets that are going to be glued on them. It's frosted. So like, well, what happens if I pour the etchol inside of the jar? This is actually an 8-ounce jam jar, the little one. And so you're just going to go ahead and like you're going to pour the etchol in there. And we do have a tutorial how to do this.
On how to use etchol.
How to use etchol, not to pour it inside. But you're going to get it nice and thick, and since it's a jam jar, thick like jam, all the way inside.
And you're bringing up the sides.
Yeah, bring it up the sides, at the bottom, and then you're going to set your timer, 15 minutes, just like it says on the manufacturer's directions. Timer goes off, go in and clean it all out and put it back in. And okay, I'm going to have to say I used my spatula because it was so much easier to use my spatula and get it back in. So now I have a dedicated craft spatula, of course.
Etchol does have a product called Dip and Etch too that you can pour in. It's a liquid. You can pour it right in, and it's perfect for the inside things like this.
Oh, okay.
You can do it with etchol cream just as easily.
And look at how amazing. Then you're just going to rinse it off, cold water, rinse it off, and look how amazing this came out. I just love how frosted it came out.
You've still got the gloss on the outside, yet that frosty inside.
Exactly. The next thing I went to then is I wanted to paint the paint, because I wanted the chalk paint to match the plate. So yeah, the tray. So I took a piece of painter's tape, about an inch and a half from the bottom. Then again, I did the chalk paint once it was dry. This is the Martha Stewart.
The nice thing about chalk paint is you can use it on any surface, and you don't have to prep the surface. You don't have to prime first or anything, and it'll work on glass and wood and metal. And
now when you take that off, this is the effect we have. And this is exactly what I wanted. Now we're going to go back to our decoupage, and we're going to decoupage on. Remember I said we had our swirl, and here's my decapitated butterfly. And we're going to now, I'm not going to do it, but you saw how I decoupaged earlier. The same thing, a little bit of decoupage on here, just a little bit on the jar. And then you're going to decoupage that on like that.
Add your butterfly.
Then you're going to add your butterfly where you want your butterfly to land. Don't forget her body.
And then go over the whole thing with another coat of the Mod Podge?
Yeah, go over with another coat of the Mod Podge, and then follow it up again with the sparkle Mod Podge. And this is the effect you're going to get. Now this refrigerator is going to be adorable when it's done. And I wanted to show you a really cool technique I came up with, was watercoloring on wood. So I used the woodsy alphabet letters, and I used the Transformation tags. And I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, I'm using the Lowell and Cornell watercolor palette. This is 24 different colors. You're going to start by getting your brush a little wet. And if you haven't watercolored since you were in elementary school or whatever, you know you just need to put a couple drops of water on the colors you want to use, and just kind of give them a little bit of time to soak in. Now, once you did that, move these out of the way, and I'm going to get up here nice and close for you so you can see how to do this. So I'm going to run my brush a little bit into the paint or the watercolor like that, and I'm going to saturate it just across.
It's going to sink into that wood. It's almost staining the wood.
This is really kind of also gives it a really cool ombre look. I want to go back because you do want to be generous with your water. I dipped the water, my brush back in, and look how it's going to start bleeding.
That's the beautiful thing about watercolor, is you don't have that harsh line when you blend your colors.
And now we're going to go back, dip my brush again, and now I'm going to go back and I'm going to pick up one more color right across the bottom. And I do really like it how it bleeds. So once that is dried, then you're going to come in with the Folk Art Extreme Glitter. This is the hologram, and you're going to paint that over the top. I'm going to bring these back in just so you can see how beautiful the glitter is on them. So I also did that with the tag, and literally when I did the butterfly, or the bird, the bluebird, I actually did the bluebird's wing, and I did the whole body too. So that's just watercolored. Same thing with the flower. I just kind of bled the center out a little bit on that.
I like how the wood grain still shows too.
Yeah, I just love the effect of this. To get our little flowers that look like they're resin, I went to the Mod Molds and the Mod Melts. And I'm going to show you really quick how to do that. This is their great new...
the Mod Melter.
The Mod Melter. So when you do this, I'm going to bring this right up here so you can see this. Okay, so I'm just going to come right in the center, and you can see I'm just pumping my hand. It's definitely a different, but it's so great to use it. And I like to just get right down in the middle and just start squirting it right in there. Now, so you have the general idea. So you're going to just work on this till you get the whole canal filled right up to the top. Like I have this one right here. It's about 7 minutes for it to dry, and then you're just going to simply pop it out of the mold.
Now, if you have any strings on the back, you can just trim those with a scissor or a craft knife, or you can sand them off too.
Correct.
I've discovered the hard way.
Now, these do not come out painted when they come out of the mold. I just made that so it could be easier for you. And then you're just going to go over and use any of your acrylic paint you have. I loved using the Folk Art and Martha Stewart Accomplished. So you can see I painted them all different colors, trying to keep everything matching the watercoloring that I did earlier. And then after the paint was dried, it's just the acrylic paint, I used Folk Art and Martha Stewart acrylics. Then I used the Folk Art Extreme Glitter, and I use, this is the hologram again.
Just a single coat to give it a little sparkle.
Yeah, look at, I just love the sparkle. We have one more element to show you, and then we're ready to do our refrigerator. Now, to create our Gerber Daisy, we're going to go back to our die cuts from where we did earlier. And this actually has little score lines in it. So you're going to fold all the score lines. Before I did that, I did glue another daisy to the back just because I didn't want the paper, the white paper showing on the other side.
And it die cuts with the score marks already in it?
Yes, it does. Then just with my fingernails, I just went zip, 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 all the way around to curl up the petals.
Give it more dimension.
And I did it also on the other centerpiece. Now I'm just a little bit of Beacon 3-in-1 on the back. Put that right in the middle.
Just do your layers.
And we're just going to build our daisy. More glue, another layer, and then a final dab of glue on one of our great little mod molds that we made earlier, flowers, and we're going to let those settle up. Then I went to a paper straw and I just smushed down.
And then used a 3-in-1 to hold it?
Yep, smushed down to about a ½ an inch. Just glued it to the back, and then I went ahead and I added the leaf on the back. Really super simple. Now the very, very, very last step is adding the magnets, because we do have...
How to make it all magnetic, right?
We have to make it magnetic. So I went to our...
Pro-Mag magnets.
Pro-Mag magnets. On the back of the tray, I found that it would need 5. But I also found my refrigerators curved a little bit, so I couldn't put the magnets all the way out.
Depends on the tray. Well, it depends on the surface you're working on.
So some refrigerators are flat, some have a little curvage. So I went ahead and I glued, and I used Beacon 527 to glue these magnets on.
Strong enough to hold it.
Definitely strong enough. On the back of the mason jar, I used 3 of the flexible magnets and 2 layers. Let me show you 2 layers of the magnetic tape, because this magnet was too thick, and it really, the jar is a little heavy, and you need to have as much magnetic power as you want on the refrigerator. Now, for the back of my letters, you can see I took the magnetic tape and I just cut strips of it and stuck it on the back. So I didn't want any of the magnets showing. Same thing on the little flowers.
Just cut it to the size you need.
Just cut it to the size I needed.
And those are self-adhesive also, correct?
Yes, they will
So you just
stick.
peel and stick, and you've got your magnets.
And they're going to stick. So now we're going to go decorate our refrigerator. So I went to our transfer mason, got this great copper lid. It's called their Daisy lid. And screwed it on, then filled up the flowers that we just finished making. I've already added my tray to the refrigerator. On goes my mason jar. Our little fairy magic's already there. I'm just going to add a few more flowers, and we're going to be ready for springtime in our kitchen. This is really a lot of fun for the kids to do as well. I hope you've enjoyed this project today. We hope you've enjoyed When Creativity Knocks.
All-Star Designers Spring Series.
Like us on Facebook, pin us on Pinterest, and follow us on Twitter.
And don't forget, sign up on our website to receive our weekly newsletter, and you're eligible to win one of the weekly prize boxes full of products from all of our series sponsors.